Are you concerned with how much screen time your child has? How much is too much, and how do you control it?
Hi, I'm Julia Bagg.
And I'm Marissa Bagg,
and we're Moms with a Mic. We put those questions to a pediatrician to find out answers for parents.
And we came up with 3 tips that you can follow to help control the amount of time your child spends on screens.
With all the distance learning going on during the pandemic, doctors say all that screen time does have its drawbacks.
It's a struggle and it's difficult, right? At the same time, sometimes we can tell, again, with my own daughters, and some other anecdotal evidence from other parents are telling me, oh yeah, they play on the device, they're doing whatever after the school day, and it just seems like they're crankier, they're fussier, they're complaining more of headaches and things like that. I think a lot of that could be traced to using a screen, being a handheld device, being in front of a computer all day.
Tip number 1, set boundaries for screen time. It's unrealistic to take electronics away completely outside of online schooling, so experts say choose your battles. Allow them some fun screen time, but set a limit that works for your family.
I don't want to deprive them completely of the joy they get FaceTiming with people or being on playing a game or something like that on the internet versus before when they were on distance learning and in the computer all day. So it's a hard balance, I suppose, and different for each kid.
When kids don't spend time with other kids, they can get lonely. Tip number 2, find ways for your kids to make meaningful connections.
Make it a point to spend time with your kids, even if it means joining them on a device. You can set up virtual play dates or take part in the games they enjoy on their screen. Dr. Chad Sanborn notes the lack of interaction between peers can take a toll for some students.
For certain children, not being in an environment where they're around their peers, where they're around a teacher who's in front of the classroom teaching them, can make a big difference in ways that we didn't even know would be a big difference until the pandemic started and people were distance learning.
The pandemic has made increased use of electronics and technology a way of life. Dr. Sanborn says it may be troubling how much kids have their hands on devices, but he wants parents to remember something else.
Yes, I'm concerned. Yes, I don't want it to go on like this forever. That being said, knowing that, well, it's for a finite period of time, kind of everything is weird at the moment. It's one of the, I guess we'll fight our battles when we can.
And that brings us to tip number 3, change the scenery. Take the kids outside to the backyard or to a park or venue where it's safe to do activities away from electronics. Make it part of your child's routine so they break away from being home or indoors all of the time.
People who are big into extracurricular activities, athletics, and so forth, they've suffered during this pandemic because they haven't, even if they're participating, it's different, right? So it's not what they were used to. Routines are generally pretty important to children, as especially younger children as they're growing up. So having that thrown off, is going to do some harm.
For what it's worth, all that screen time could actually provide an advantage for your child in the future.
I think having a familiarity with that, which these kids are getting, whether they want to or not, will ultimately make it a smoother transition into later teen years, adulthood, potentially jobs later on in the future, distance learning for universities and things like that.
So to recap, set boundaries for screen time, find ways for your children to make meaningful connections, and change the scenery.
Let us know what you think about these suggestions by leaving a comment below, or better yet, click like to show us how you feel.
Thanks for watching Moms with a Mic.